What if those famous first words of the Bible, in the beginning, are more than just a starting line? What if they're a key to understanding divine power and the universe's design in a way most of us have only ever brushed past? And what if the light spoken into being on day one wasn't the sun as we know it, and those waters above point to ancient ideas we've nearly forgotten? Get ready to see Genesis 1 not just as an old story, but as a divine blueprint, filled with insights waiting to be explored. Welcome, we're about to take a journey back to the very dawn of time. We're not just going to skim Genesis chapter 1 from the Protestant Bible. We're going on an expedition to uncover some of its deeply embedded truths. For thousands of years, this chapter has been a cornerstone of faith, a source of endless wonder, and, yeah, a hot topic for debate. But just beneath the surface of these familiar verses, there are layers of meaning that reveal the incredible power behind how our universe began in God's intricate plan. We'll walk through each of the 6 creation days, looking at them not just as calendar entries, but as windows into God's character, His ways, and His ultimate vision for everything that exists. So, try to set aside what you think you know. It's time to discover the profound messages woven into the Bible's majestic opening. So, before God said, "Let there be light," what was the scene like? Genesis 1 verse 2 gives us a glimpse. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. The original Hebrew, tohu wabohu, paints a picture of this state, often translated as formless and empty, or a desolate waste. This isn't pure nothingness, but more like an unorganized, undeveloped potential, just waiting for divine order. The deep, or tiham in Hebrew, makes you think of vast, dark, ancient waters. And over this wild expanse, the Ruach Elohim, the Spirit of God, was hovering or moving. This isn't just God passively watching. The image is active, almost like a bird caring for its nest, brimming with anticipation and ready to burst creative energy. This really sets the scene. God is completely separate from this raw state. He's not part of it, but the one who is about to shape it. This first look is so important. It establishes God's total authority even before a single creative word is spoken. He is the ultimate source, distinct from creation, preparing to bring order from chaos, and meaning from emptiness. Here's the first insight we uncover. Creation isn't about something emerging from God's own substance, but a deliberate act of God upon a state He Himself allowed, primed for transformation. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God saw that the light was good, and He separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness He called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. Genesis 1 verses 3 to 5. The very first thing God speaks into existence is light. But here's something really fascinating. This light appears before the sun, moon, and stars, which don't show up until day 4. This has puzzled people for ages, hasn't it? So, what is this original light? Many theologians think this first light isn't just the light we see, but could represent the dawn of order, truth, goodness, or even the very presence of God's glory shining into the darkness. It's a foundational move, separating the very ideas of light and darkness, and setting up a basic rhythm for the universe. When God says, "God saw that the light was good," that's huge. It's the first divine thumbs up, confirming the goodness of what He creates. This goodness isn't an accident. It's woven into the fabric of what God brings forth. Separating light from darkness isn't just a physical event. It's a statement about God bringing clear distinctions in order. He names them day and night, an act that shows His sovereignty and how He defines things. The phrase, "and there was evening, and there was morning," marks the end of this creative phase, setting a pattern that will continue. The insight here? God's creative power starts with illumination in its widest sense, pushing back the chaos and creating the very conditions needed for life and understanding. And God said, "Let there be an expanse between the waters to separate water from water." So God made the expanse and separated the water under the expanse from the water above it. And it was so. God called the expanse sky. And there was evening, and there was morning, the second day. Genesis 1 verses 6 to 8. That on the second day, God brings more order by creating an expanse, in Hebrew, rakia. This word is often translated as firmament, and some ancient views pictured it as a solid dome. But its deeper sense points to a stretched out space, the atmosphere, the sky that separates different waters. Now, waters above and waters below might sound a bit strange to our modern scientific ears, but the truth being unveiled here is about God's masterful organization of the cosmos, setting up different realms and boundaries. Think about it. Water, which in ancient times symbolized both life and chaos, is now being organized. The waters above could refer to atmospheric moisture, clouds, the source of rain, while the waters below would be those primordial seas covering the earth. The main point isn't really about a literal solid dome, but about God's power to create a livable environment, to make the kinds of separations that support life. He names this expanse sky, Shemayim, again showing His authority and the purposeful way He creates. The repetition of "and it was so" and the evening-morning pattern really underscores the deliberate, rhythmic way God's plan is unfolding. The ancient world often saw the sky itself as divine, Genesis turns that on its head, showing it as something created, under God's command. This structured separation is another step in turning that formless void into an ordered world. And God said, "Let the water under the sky be gathered to one place, and let dry ground appear." And it was so. God called the dry ground land, and the gathered waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let the land produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants and trees on the land that bear fruit with seed in it, according to their various kinds." And it was so. The land produced vegetation, plants bearing seed according to their kinds and trees bearing fruit with seed in it according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the third day. Genesis 1 verses 9 to 13. Day 3 brings a double dose of creation, really shaping our planet. First, the waters are gathered, allowing dry land to appear. This separation, land from sea, is essential for creating a world where land-based life can exist. God names them land, Eretz, and seas, Yamam, and once again, he declares it good. This isn't just about geology. It's about God preparing a stage, a specific place for life. Then, the earth itself is commanded to bring forth life, vegetation, plants that bear seeds, and fruit trees, each according to their various kinds. This phrase, which we see repeated, is a key insight. It points to the amazing diversity and order within the created world, where living things are distinct yet part of a harmonious system. It also hints at a principle of reproduction, of life continuing and filling the earth according to God-given patterns. The earth becomes an agent of creation here, responding to God's command. This really highlights the fruitfulness and potential God built into his creation. And for the second time on this day, God saw that it was good, emphasizing how pleased he was with the new life and the stable environment he'd formed. If these ancient insights from Genesis are sparking something in you, and you're curious to discover more hidden depths of the Bible, why not hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell? You won't want to miss what we explore next. And God said, "Let there be lights in the expanse of the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them serve as signs to mark sacred times, and days, and years. And let them be lights in the expanse of the sky to give light on the earth." And it was so. God made two great lights, the greater light to govern the day and the lesser light to govern the night. He also made the stars. God set them in the expanse of the sky to give light on the earth, to govern the day and the night, and to separate light from darkness. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the fourth day. Genesis 1 verses 14 to 19. Now, on day 4, we get the creation of the sun, moon, and stars. The important thing here is their purpose. In many ancient cultures, these celestial bodies were worshipped as powerful gods. Genesis completely flips this idea. They aren't gods, they are creations of God, put there for specific jobs, to separate day from night, to be signs for seasons, days, and years, and to shine light on the earth. Their role is to govern functionally, like a traffic controller, not to rule as deities. The text calls them lights, the greater light, sun, and the lesser light, moon. This downplaying of them from gods to mere objects is a strong theological statement against idol worship. They are servants of God's cosmic order, not things to be worshipped themselves. The stars are mentioned almost as an afterthought. He also made the stars, which further emphasizes their created status. God places them in the sky, highlighting his precise design and purpose. And once again, God saw that it was good. This day shows God as the Lord of time and space, setting up the rhythms and markers that guide life on earth, all under his sovereign control. The universe isn't just a random collection of stuff. It's a finely tuned system, designed with incredible wisdom. And God said, "Let the water teem with living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the expanse of the sky." So God created the great creatures of the sea and every living thing with which the water teems and that moves about in it, according to their kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. God blessed them and said, "Be fruitful and increase in number and fill the waters in the seas, and let the birds increase on the earth." And there was evening, and there was morning, the fifth day. Day 5 explodes with living creatures in the waters and the skies. God commands the waters to teem or swarm with seed, and birds to fly. The language just paints a vivid picture of abundance and energy. The life of mentions God created, bara, the great fish creatures. This verb, bara, often points to a special, direct act of divine creation. Then, something really significant happens. God blesses these creatures. This is their first blessing in the Bible, and it's given a asterisk to animal life star. It's a divine empowerment for them to thrive. They once again be fruitful and increase in number. This highlights God's joy in diversity and abundance of life. Again, God uses phrases like "God saw that it was good," afterthought creation. This day reveals God's creative power for life, wanting his creation to be filled with movement, sound, life. As we've journeyed through these 7 incredible days, we've uncovered profound truths that make Genesis 1 and the start of Genesis 2 a theological masterpiece. It's so much more than a simple creation story. We've seen God portrayed not as one God among many, but as the one and only sovereign creator, bringing everything into existence by the power of his word. That repeated line, "And God said, and it was so," drives home his absolute authority, while his rest on the 7th day declares the perfection of his work. We've seen the truth of creation's built-in goodness, declared at every stage and summed up as very good after humanity's creation, with the seventh day's rest sealing it as complete. This pushes back against any idea that the material world is somehow bad or flawed. Instead, it's a purposeful, orderly, life-giving universe, a testament to God's wisdom. The structure, moving from formless to formed, from empty to filled, and finally to rested completion, shows God bringing order from chaos and purpose from potential. The creation of light before the sun hints at a divine illumination beyond the physical, setting the stage for truth and order. The celestial bodies, presented not as gods but as created servants, boldly declare God's supremacy over any pagan deities. The blessing to be fruitful reveals a God who delights in a world teeming with life, from swarming seas to soaring birds to diverse land creatures. The creation of humanity in God's image, let us make, points to a depth within God himself, possibly an early glimpse of the Trinity, and establishes humanity's unique dignity, purpose, and responsibility as stewards of this amazing creation. Finally, the Sabbath rest on day 7 unveils God's desire for a rhythm of work and reflection, inviting us to pause and marvel at his finished work. These aren't just ancient tales, they are foundational truths about who God is, who we are, and the nature of the universe itself. Which truth from Genesis 1 hit you the hardest today? Was it the mysterious first light, the Imago Dei that defines humanity, or the sacred rest of the Sabbath? Share your favorite insight in the comments below, and let's dive deeper into how these ancient words speak to us now.